frosted glass.
Woo! Welcome back to Death Curse Society, ladies and gentlemen. It is June. Welcome to summer, everybody. I'm Red Crank, your host. I got the Colonel and I got Zigzag, and it looks like Colonel's got a little friend with him. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Greg the Zombie. Got it for my youngest daughter's 4th birthday. She just had to have one. She loves it, and it's a great product, so I'm doing an unsolicited plug for him. Greg the Zombie. This guy is awesome. They come in a variety of colors. Just go to gregthezombie.com, or you can find him on Facebook. Order yours today. Removable brain. I'm going to do this really quick. Heart.
Oh.
And intestines. This guy is pretty fucking cool. All right, Greg, you got to sit to the side, buddy. You got to get to work.
Yeah, he hasn't earned his right to be on the show yet. He doesn't get hosting duties yet.
Colonel's probably getting himself a life-size version for doing that plug. You know, there's like a Fulci version or something where it looks realistic. And
I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah. Share that one if you get that.
Hey, if you're looking for a gift for your kid, there you go. And you want your kid to grow up with like weird psychological problems? Perfect gift right there. That's the gift with heart.
Dude, they used to give kids fucking lawn darts. Those are illegal now. I don't want to hear it.
I'm not saying it's a bad gift. I'm just saying,
I'm saying, you possibly could commit murder with this one, but it's less likely than it is with a lawn dart. Just saying.
He said it's a gift with heart.
Yeah, I did. Fuck you, Ziggy. All right, we got a lot to talk about, and we're getting ready to get really quiet so we don't get stalked by monsters. It's time for Let's Go Camping.
Okay, you big hunk of a man, come and get me.
Alrighty, folks, for Let's Go Camping this time around, we are going to review A Quiet Place Part 2. Following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. Forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sand path. This one starts as kind of a mini prequel. You see day 1 of the alien invasion or whatever, and then it flashes back forward to day 400 and something right after the events of the original Quiet Place. Initial thoughts? Let's go with Colonel on this one. Colonel, what do you think of A Quiet Place Part 2?
Man, here's how I sum it up. You know that one scene where they're creeping by, trying to be super quiet? There's always that one idiot snaps on a branch. You're, wow, the fucking aliens come around, they gotta hide. That's super fucking intense. Now, I'll be honest with you, I had a pretty busy weekend. I was unable to see A Quiet Place Part 2, but if I was a betting man, I would say something similar to that happened at least once in this movie. Like, I could pretty much review it without seeing it, is what I'm guessing.
Damn it, Colonel. You had one job out of 50 things that you needed to do this weekend.
Dude, it ain't my fault I'm a fucking genetic jackhammer, okay? I told you May is a busy month for me.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No, we understand. Colonel had birthdays and work and all kinds of stuff this weekend, so he's excluded from this. He does not have to use his fuck this shit I'm out card, but
thank God, I thought I was going to have to.
We'll let you slide on this one. So I guess, Ziggy, it's up to you and I to make some kind of sense out of A Quiet Place Part 2. Initial thoughts, sir?
Nah, I didn't see it either. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
just
God
kidding.
damn it.
Just kidding. Nope. Actually, it's quite a fascinating story. When I rolled up to the theater, I was greeted by 7 police cars. They weren't looking for me, but I was kind of like, okay, what the fuck is this? Something's going on. So I kind of zipped into the parking lot next to the theater and just kind of observed. And they were wrapping it up, whatever was going on there. So I walked up and just said, hey, safe to go in. And didn't ask what's going on or what happened. He just said, yep, and he got in his car. So I went, okay. So I went back and got my boy, and we went in, and nobody's in the theater. Like, no one that works there. All the ticket counters, the concessions, everyone's gone. One guy walking around with a badge, plain clothes, talking to a couple of people. Then here comes the whole mob of workers out of one area. I'm thinking a shooting went down. Confirmed later after the movie when I got home, some shots were fired in the fucking movie. So yeah, I just missed that, thank goodness. But I did get to see the movie, and it's not bad, man. Quiet Place 2 is actually pretty good. I agree with them on what they're saying about seeing it in a theater. This really helped the experience. I saw the first one on the TV screen. It does what, like Crank said, it picks up. You get to see day one of what happened. So they do give you a little bit of an insight to maybe where these things came from. You can take your own interpretation on it and run with it, but it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, we jump right to the scene that ended the first movie. Honestly, it's more of the same of the first movie. You get some new characters come in, but you have a mission this time. There's a point. We have something to do to save the world. It's cool. It's worth it. Pretty much the same movie. I did feel a lot. It was very similar to the first one in feel, but I did enjoy it. That's my first impression. How about you, bro?
Yeah, this was very similar to the first one. I kind of expected that. Seeing the first one, a few years back when it first came out, it was somewhat original, somewhat a new take on the need to be quiet, to stay away from creatures, to keep them from being able to find you. It was a new look at that. And the diving into the family, the core of the family so much as they did with the Abbott family in the first one, really held that movie together. We've got the part 2 now. The family unit is still mostly together, minus, another cog has been ripped out. You know that if you saw the first one, though. It's too much of the same. They do try to throw in a couple of new elements into this film, especially with Emmett, the introduction of Emmett, who is a family friend. They reconnect with him. Emmett is played by Cillian Murphy, by the way. They reconnect with him and try to get his help to survive, since John Krasinski's Lee is out of the picture for this one, most of it. They have to find kind of a new father figure, if you will. I hate to use that patriarchal term, but it's kind of what it is in this. The formula was a lot the same until we got to the third act. And then once that kicked in, it fired on all cylinders then. Ziggy, I guess I have to just keep throwing it to you the rest of the way. I almost have more questions about the theater shooting than I have about the movie now, too, after that story.
Dude, I know.
I got no details. I found out all this shit after the fact. After I got home, I kind of surfed what happened, and it was like a shots fired in another theater. Nobody was hit. Nobody was hurt. So the news didn't pick up anything else. But, yeah, it was just 7 cop cars flanking the whole front.
Well, I'm just curious what movie they were screening. I mean, it had to be Dark Knight Rises, right? No? So I know a lot of theaters are still showing older movies.
I'm going to edit that out.
Can't go to a movie the first week and come out. Why? Hey, that's a good movie. That's so good. I got to bust a cap in here.
Too soon?
The movie was still better than that excitement. That was frankly a little annoying when there was no employees in the fucking theater.
Well, let me ask you this, Ziggy. Are you a fan of movies like this when it comes to like noise tracking killer beasts or creatures?
The premise is cool, and now they have a little bit of a way to disrupt them and give them an advantage. And you find that these things are pretty much vulnerable when exposed to what they figured out. So yeah, a monster movie like this, I'm always for it. I'm a big mark for movies like that. So this one fits right along with that. It's super entertaining. It's super tense. It gets you holding your own fucking breath at times. It achieves all that. It's shot well. It looks good. Emily Blunt, great. Cillian Murphy. I sat there for 45 minutes going, who the fuck is this guy? And then I went, got it. Scarecrow. Fucking 28 days later.
He's one of those that is in so much you almost forget everything that he's in.
Yeah.
When you first see him.
It was amazing seeing him come back in The Dark Knight Rises as Scarecrow.
What the fuck, man?
He's on a bender today. Did you miss Lee, John Krasinski's character, after that first 15 minutes or whatever? Did you miss him, or did the cast, especially Cillian Murphy, fill in his role enough?
Yeah, it works because they know what they want to do. Obviously, the game is still stay out of sight, stay hidden, be quiet. But some variables here. They have to get medicine. They have to get oxygen for the baby when they hide the baby. It's in like this airtight, soundproof box, so nobody will hear the baby at night when he's sleeping. So they put an oxygen mask on. Well, the oxygen's tanks are way low, so they got to go find a couple of those. So they're pretty much forced to move. they see these signal fires along the horizon. That's what kind of gets them to go that way, gets them to hook up with Emmett.
Well, and also I like the idea that somewhere there are people trying to get the people that are stranded's attention, through that song. I thought that was a pretty clever way to do it. I don't want to necessarily give too many spoilers away here, but they're looking for civilization of some kind of human compound where people are collecting and people are being able to be safe. That was an interesting take, I thought. Again, it's a natural progression of a storyline like this. The Walking Dead kind of went through the same thing. You find a bunch of individuals living their own lives during the very beginning of an outbreak, and they form together and band together as a civilization of their own and start their own community together. So it's a natural progression. I just think I like the way they did handle that. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's really hard not to make the comparisons to The Walking Dead because it's exactly that. Walking around in the woods. Occasionally you have to deal with shit. Meeting up with Emmett kind of creates problems of its own because you're not sure who Emmett is at first when you get there. And something later on which really disturbed me. You know what I mean? So
yep. After seeing that, you absolutely don't know who the fuck Emmett is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've trusted him up to now. Why did we trust him now? Because now I'm questioning everything. How about this? Was this a worthy sequel to the original?
It's just more, it's a lot the same movie. That's what the problem is. That in the third act, yeah, it does throw a couple of wrinkles in there, but I felt the one particular one, without giving it away, it was throwaway almost.
Well, I think that was there just to add to the tension and give another, here's another danger that they're going to face out in the world outside of their house and trying to find their way to this community.
Stretch it out, flesh them out a little bit. Let's see what their fucking camp looked like,
I think we'll get a little bit more of that later, if you know what I mean, because we're going to get into that here in a second. I thought this was a pretty good sequel. It was slightly a letdown from the original for me, but not by much, since we already know there's a third film in the works. Where do you think that ending of this one leads to in a third movie, Ziggy?
I mean, I guess now a third movie would make sense because after all the buildup to get to the end of the second movie, very unspectacular with how it's executed, and you know what I mean? So I'd like to see that on a much bigger scale like the plan was. So, I mean, a third movie will probably get into all that and turning it around.
Right.
The rebuild, who knows? Sounds more like a Walking Dead to me, a third one.
Well, when it comes to a third movie, I have the common, again, you've got a natural progression when it comes to films like this. You got the lone survivors, you get them together. They form a community. That community gets attacked. Everything, kind of starts to fall apart. Or then they figure out a way to defeat the creatures and they survive. The natural progression then is, how do we tell the rest of the world the weakness of the creatures? So I assume that's where the third movie is going to take us. It's going to be some kind of mission to tell more people the feedback idea, how to get that trick out to defeat the creatures and what they have to face to get that information to the right people to be able to tell the entire world. Because they are kind of isolated right now on an island, I assume, somewhere. Colonel, I know you didn't see the second one, but where do you think the third one might go?
Based on what you guys told me, I've been listening, focusing in. All right, so they found out a way to take these fucking aliens out. What I think they're going to do is they're going to send out old Morse code all around the world. And the British are going to get it, and they're like, oh, the Americans figure out how to kill the aliens. They're like, it's about bloody time. And then that's how you get it, and they take them out.
Tell them.
I've seen that before.
Seriously?
That's fucking Independence Day, man.
Fuck.
Not Memorial Day.
I thought I was onto something. Fuck, man. No, okay. Fucking Will Smith did it, I guess. Man, fuck Jeff Goldblum, man.
I'm not even going to ask you any more questions the rest of the night. This is ridiculous.
The night?
Okay, the rest of this segment. All right, so A Quiet Place 2, Ziggy, what kind of rating does it get from you?
I highly recommend to get to a theater, shootings aside, of course. But this did help with the whole thing, and it is a super tense movie. It is good. If you enjoyed the first one, obviously, You're going to dig this one. Maybe a hair, not as much. There's some good performances here, man. And the story is good. Those creatures are fucking weird. It's neat seeing them. You get a little more views at them this time. Just people doing annoying shit to make noise that you just want to smack the shit out of them. So, I mean, having said all that, it's good. You'll enjoy yourself. I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, the performances alone in this are outstanding, phenomenal, especially the character Reagan, played by Millicent Simmons. She's actually a deaf girl, and she's just outstanding in this. And she was great in the first one as well, but she really steps up her game a little bit in this, and she's good. I can't wait to see her outside of this role more. I want to see what she grows into. And, you know, not necessarily even in the horror genre. I hope she does do some more in the horror genre, but I expect her to be a big star as her years go on and her career goes on. This one, like I said, though, is really similar to the first one. There wasn't a whole lot of new ground broken until they got to the new community, and hell broke loose for a little bit. I like the storyline. I like the idea of, you know, even though it's fairly predictable, I like the idea of them trying to figure out what the weakness is. We figured out the weakness. Well, now let's try it, you know, more often and see if it actually works. Let's fine tune it. Let's get this right so we can defeat these damn things. The first one was so original to me that this one just felt the same as the first one almost, but not as new or as fresh, I guess. Yeah, this one loses a little bit in ranking for me because of that, but not a whole lot because it's a solid sequel. And I'm going to give it a 7.5. Colonel, what would your ranking be? Never mind. No, never mind. I said I wasn't going to ask you any more questions, so never mind.
I was going to give it a fucking 10, but all right.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely not going to.
It was the first time ever.
Yeah. You're never going to give a movie a 10. You never, ever are. I know this. So anyway, A Quiet Place 2 is in theaters now. Highly recommended, like Ziggy said, to go and check it out. Get out there and support your local movie theaters if they're open. Hopefully they are. And yeah, that's it for Let's Go Camping. Thanks for tuning in. Woo!
What?
Be quiet.
Well, fuck, there's that Crank and Zags review for A Quiet Place 2. It was pretty quiet on my end. But thanks for tuning in. Be sure to keep your eyes out for stories around the campfire coming your way.
Hey, this is PJ Souls, and you are totally watching Death Curse Society. So keep watching.
The Death Curse Society has just become an associate producer on the film.
Yes.
Bravo. Bravo. Death Curse Society, guys, is so awesome. I met the guys, all three of the guys, at Indianapolis last year for Horror Hound. And I met those dudes, and I gotta tell you, like, I hung out with them, we took pictures, I signed some stuff, they gave me a t-shirt. It was awesome. They are awesome guys. So super cool. I am so glad to have them on board this campaign and also on board the film. And now they are gonna be IMDb credited as producers on this movie.
Hey, thanks guys for watching Death Curse Society. This is Red Crank here. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to go up here, hit that subscription button, make sure to hit that bell too so you get a notification whenever we drop some new videos. And speaking of different videos, bam, right over here we got a couple for you to check out as well. Check these out. Keep watching Death Curse Society. Thanks for tuning in. Woo!